So we're sitting with a wonderful herd of elephants this afternoon. They're splashing around in a waterhole just over here. Spread out. Some calves that have just gone that way. Tiny little ones with their mums. And a few young ones that are really enjoying the wallow over here. Mud and water for elephants, it's obviously functional. The water they need to drink, and mud acts like a kind of sunscreen and protectant. It helps protect them from biting insects and keeps them cool. But they're one of the few animals that you can see actually has fun at the waterhole. I mean, just have a look at some of these young ones splashing around here. You can tell they're having a good time. Yeah, sightings like this are absolutely magic. And the wonderful thing about winter is how much the elephants congregate around water. It's been quite a warm afternoon, so I think that's why a lot of them are mud bespattered. Even a little one who's just walked that way now was trying to scratch itself on a tree like its mother was. And that calf was probably only a month or so old, so it hasn't quite developed the knack. I think let's go and have a look at the tree and see if they've just moved into the thicket. We'll see if we can see where it was scratching. So this is a leadwood tree here. It gets its name from the fact that the wood is incredibly hard, and as a result it's really impervious to borers. So the skeleton of the tree stays upright long after the tree is dead. So it acts as a very convenient rubbing post for a lot of big mammals that come and wallow. So rhinos and elephants, warthog, buffalo. So you can actually see the levels of mud that denote exactly which animals have been rubbing there. So elephants obviously at the top, and you're not going to get a buffalo or a rhino to reach that high. Buffalo and rhino are about this level, and then warthogs right down low, or tiny little elephants that we saw earlier. So yeah, I mean, ordinarily if I saw mud down there, I'd think it was a warthog doing its thing. I wouldn't suspect it was a fairly useless little elephant calf trying its best and sort of failing dismally, although it'll get the knack fairly soon. Okay, well, while we were off looking at that leadwood tree, we've just heard on the radio that one of the other guys has found one of the Nsevu lionesses just up the hill here. She's on her way down towards the waterhole. If we're very lucky, she'll come for a drink. That's always a nice sight, but she might just go straight past. But given that a lioness is approaching, let's get back into the car. So I don't know why it's just her by herself. The pride's nowhere to be found. Their tracks were far off in the south this morning, that direction. Maybe she's looking to mate. We think the females are starting to come into estrus. We think one of them is pregnant actually. So possibly she's looking for the Ottawa male, who we've seen some of the lionesses mating with before. Egyptian geese being very noisy in the background. But yeah, I can just see her approaching in the distance there, so let's see what happens when she comes close here. Oh, well, she didn't go and drink. She's just lying up now for the moment. We're hoping she might try and vocalize call for the pride. But like I said, we're not too sure where they are. We didn't find them this morning. Some of the guys have gone to look for them this afternoon. Yeah, so we're going to sit with her and see what happens. She's probably going to move quite soon, given the fact she's moving quite early in the afternoon already. It's still warm, still light. It's not a very good night for hunting because the moon's full tonight. So we will stick with her and see what happens. Yeah, I'm sure she'll get up and move again quite soon. Okay, we're still with this lioness. She's just sneaking around. She heard something, got up and started moving immediately. So whatever's piqued her interest is worth her following up on. Is either the rest of her pride, or the way she's moving kind of stealthily through the thickets and avoiding the road. I think there's a leopard with a kill here that she's heard. That's just my theory, throwing it out there, big gamble, may well be wrong. If it was a pride, she'd probably just want to get straight back to them. She might even answer, and she'd stick on the little dirt track, which is the quickest way to get there. She's not doing that. She's kind of investigating, sneaking around, stopping, listening. I think she's heard something feeding, and she's coming to try to steal a free meal. But I mean, what an evening. There's a spectacular full moon rising behind us. We only noticed it. We totally forgot it was a full moon. We only saw it when we turned around to follow her. And now we've got this lioness kind of investigating. So something's going on here. She's not hunting, that's for sure. She's coming to have a look. We don't know. We didn't hear anything. Her senses are much better than ours. Her hearing's acute. She's probably going to get a scent of something soon. But let's see what happens here. This is quite exciting. Okay, well that's essentially it for the evening. Well, she's gone fast asleep, so either she lost the scent or decided it wasn't worth following up on. Yeah, we were fairly excited there. We thought we were in the money with some impending action, but no, nothing's really come of it. She's just put her head down. Look, we don't know how long she'll sleep for. She might be here for another couple of hours. The moon's very bright, it's full, so hunting isn't going to be particularly productive right now. It's a fairly open area she's walking through. Her best bet is to link up with the pride. The guys didn't have any luck finding them. And tomorrow's another day. So we'll leave her be and we'll come back to the area in the morning, see if we can get her tracks, take it from there. Right, we often go on about alarm calls and how you can find predators by using them. Now, different creatures sometimes have different alarm calls depending on what predator they've seen. We're at the Londolozi River, and over the far side you might hear some grey lories. Quay, quay, quay. 99% sure they're alarming at a giant eagle owl, or Vero's eagle owl is the other name. We're going to walk a bit closer. The owl might just flash when we get close, but they never really let you get a good view of them. But we'll show you some footage of what they do look like. But let's go and have a look. We just want to confirm that this is what they're alarming at. It's just an example of how specific alarm calls can tell you exactly what's being seen. There it goes. Oh. Okay, there we go. Well, the owl flew off when we were about 60 meters away still, so shame they don't like you knowing where they are. That's one of the reasons they choose big trees like the sausage tree, which we're going to go have a look at now. It's because there's a good canopy and they can avoid detection and roost, hopefully in peace for the day. But this one obviously was found by the grey lories. And I don't know if you heard, the tone of the calls changed as the owl took off. So it's not only what the threat is that determines the level or type of alarm call, but sometimes even what it's doing. So a flying bird is very different to one just sitting in a tree. The lovely big trees, these sausage trees, they generally grow close to water, which is why we find them on river banks like here. This one's on the banks of the Londolozi River. There are quite a few near Londolozi camps. You don't want to pitch a tent under these trees when it's full of sausages, or park your car. You're going to get either a cracked head or dings on your roof, and you're going to need a good panel beater. Here are the remains of one. They're incredibly hard when they fall down. They get eaten by various things. Baboons and even hippos eat them when they don't have a lot of grass around, so in drought. But let's carry on, see what we can find, and leave the sausage tree to do its thing, which essentially involves just being there. Alright, it's a fairly cold, blustery morning on Londolozi, but we've started it in to see that story. It's still early in the morning, and there are quite a few impala around just on the neighbouring hill crests. So we're going to stick with them and see what happens here. I think we might see a hunt here. So. think the impala have moved into a thicket, or just behind a thicket, which means the cheetahs can now make an approach and not be seen. I think we're probably going to miss the actual chase, if there is one, because it's going to be through some bushes. We don't want to go in there and impact the hunt, so we got to step back, but hopefully there's some dramatic conclusion. Okay, well now these cheetahs have chased some impala and have no idea where they're gone. One just took off, impala came running past us, and now it's all quiet. So I don't know if they've got one and they're lying in a thicket somewhere, or they've chased and missed. So we just got to do a loop around the area now and see if we can find them again. Okay, we've got squirrels alarming just up the way here. I think that's probably at the cheetah, but have they got something? That's the question. Well, thank goodness we found them again. They obviously missed. It wasn't the best area for them to chase. They were, I mean, they were a little bit confined in thickets, and they couldn't use their maximum speed. Impala, pretty nimble, would be able to just turn on a dime and get out of the way. I think probably just the exuberance of youth got the better of them, because these are young males, and almost certainly brothers will form coalitions just like lions, and they'll take over a territory together, or at least they'll try. And it's a little bit easier for them to bring down larger prey if there's more than one of them, and it's a little bit easier to defend territory against other males. Okay, we've now spent 4 hours with these cheetahs, and we've seen 2 unsuccessful hunts. I think they're just, look, I mean, they catch when they catch, but that's not particularly profound, is it? I don't know if it's an experience or what, but in this latest one, I think they just went a little bit early. The impala herd moved out into the clearing, and they just took off without waiting till everything was kind of in place. And I mean, look, that's just our opinion. I don't know if they obviously know more about it than we do. They can see when the chances are there or when they're not. But shame, yeah, it's been a long morning with them, and they haven't met with much success. So yeah, I think we'll leave them to it. Maybe try again this afternoon. But they've got empty bellies, so they're going to keep trying. The impala have all scattered now, nothing left to hunt around here. So I'm sure these cheetahs are just going to keep walking till they find something else to go after. But amazing to see them.